Hello, my name is Semina. I'm a dietitian and I'm working in the obesity policy research unit here in the ICH. Today I'm going to present you our work entitled Assessing the Effectiveness of Obesity Interventions in the Early Years in the UK. This is a systematic review funded by the NIHR. COVID-19 pandemic impacted on childhood obesity prevalence, with the prevalence of childhood obesity among reception-age children exceeding for the first time the prevalence of overweight the previous year. Also, there was a dramatic increase of the severe obesity prevalence among this age group. It is worrying that apart from the obesity prevalence, the inequalities in childhood obesity are increasing, and it was noticed a sharp increase in inequalities a year ago. So the key here is to start intervening early. Obesity and associated morbidities, it is well known that track strongly through childhood, adolescence, and into adulthood. And the early years of life, early childhood, is an excellent window of opportunity for interventions that will ensure the best start in children's life. The aim of our work was to explore the effectiveness of the interventions and programs for obesity prevention and treatment in very young children in the UK. And we also aim to identify the gaps in the interventions and in the evidence-based in general. So what we did, first of all, we set our criteria. We were interested in individual, community, family, and community-based interventions for obesity prevention and treatment. The population of interest were children aged 0 to 5 years old. But here I should clarify that we excluded any studies related to breastfeeding, formula feeding, or complementary feeding, because the policy target in this age is totally different. Also, we were only interested in anthropometric outcomes, and we included publications published between 2011 and 2021. Our evidence-based had no geographical and language limits, but today I will present only the UK evidence. After that, we searched 9 scientific databases and we got almost 29,000 results. Then we extracted the publications and we screened them. But due to the very high number of the records, we used, apart from the manual screening, machine learning screening as well. And we ended up with 6 studies reporting 5 interventions that were conducted in the UK. And these interventions were evaluated through randomized controlled trials, cluster randomized trials, and one impact assessment. The first study that we identified is the Healthy Heroes intervention that was evaluated in Lancashire. It is a prevention intervention for preschool children. The intervention aims to promote healthy eating and physical activity in a fun way, using stickers, cards, puppets, and songs. And children with their caregiver took part in healthy cookery courses and active play sessions. 81 children took part in the evaluation study. They were children of any weight status, but there was a focus on disadvantaged families. The intervention lasted for 6 months, and the follow-up was at 2 years. And as you can see on the table at the bottom, both within subjects and between subjects, there was a significant reduction in the mean BMI score. The second intervention is the Toy Box, which is a program delivered in many European countries, but in the context of the UK, it was piloted in Glasgow. Again, this is a preventative intervention for preschool-aged children that took place predominantly in areas of high deprivation. Toy Box was delivered in the preschool setting where sedentary behavior and physical activity was targeted, and at home where these 2 previous behaviors were targeted, plus health eating and water consumption. And the children, along with their parents, took part in interactive sessions about healthy eating, snacking, water consumption, and physical activity. In total, 6 preschools took part in this study. Again, children of any weight status were recruited, and there was a focus on disadvantaged families. The intervention lasted 18 weeks, and the follow-up measurements were obtained at weeks 15 to 17. There was a reduction compared to control in the mean BMI score, but the significance was not reported in the paper. The next intervention is Henry, which is a well-known UK community-based prevention preschool obesity intervention. Henry was evaluated in areas of northern and central England without giving any more details of which are these areas. We only know that these were areas of high deprivation. The aim of the program is to educate parents and give them the skills and knowledge about health, eating, nutrition, physical activity, and general well-being. 117 children took part in the study. Again, there were no weight status criteria. And as I said, the intervention was delivered in areas of high deprivation. The duration of the intervention was 8 weeks, and the anthropometric measurements were obtained again at 11 months. Both between subjects and within subjects, there were reductions in the mean BMI score, but again, the statistical significance was not reported. Another program is LIFE, lifestyle exercise activity for families. Thank you. It was evaluated in Cornwall. This is an obesity treatment program that and children were related to participate to this program if they were severe obese or they were severe obese with relevant comorbidity. A multidisciplinary team delivered the intervention consisting of pediatricians, dietitians, and physical activity experts, and the program had 5 stages: initial home visit, clinical child assessment and anthropometric measurements, 6 workshops around healthy lifestyle, then follow-up clinical assessments, and the start from the program once a healthy lifestyle has been achieved. 65 children took part in this study. There was not a control group. The study had a duration of 12 months, and right after the end of the study, anthropometric measurements were obtained again. And the program found to be effective in reducing the mean BMI score. And the final study that we identified, it was provided to us by Julie, and she previously talked in detail for that. I will not go in a lot of details. It was evaluated in Herefordshire, and as Julie said before, it was delivered both as a preventative and as a treatment intervention. And in this slide, you can see the findings of the treatment intervention. Children, compared to the children within subjects, children achieved a reduction at 6 months in their ZBMI, which was sustained at the 24 months follow-up. And here are the findings for planned months when delivered as preventive interventions. The reductions were not significant, but again, due to the small sample size, thank you, we should judge not only the significance but also the study design, which was an RCT, and the effect sizes, which were reduced. And we move to the discussion. we found out that there was a very limited number of interventions evaluated in the UK. A reduction in BMI scores, that score in individuals compared to their own baseline, was found to be significant in 3 studies, one of which was among children with overweight and obesity. Significant reductions in BMI score compared to control was observed in 2 studies, one of which was among children with overweight or obesity. Unfortunately, we cannot say a lot about the sustainability of the findings because only 2 studies were followed up beyond 12 months. And as Julie previously mentioned, we found out that Planet Match was the only preschool obesity intervention that adhered to the NICE recommendations, which suggest that obesity interventions should provide advice on a healthy diet, encourage for physical activity, and include a behavior change component. Finally, I should acknowledge our limitations due to the very high number of records we got from the database searching. We, apart from the manual screening, we used machine learning screening as well. We were only interested in anthropometric outcomes, so we not take into considerations changes in diet and reduction in sedentary behavior. Studies that were published before 2011 were excluded, but this decision was driven because a recent systematic review found out that there was not much evidence in the UK prior 2011. And also, due to the variability of the studies, we were not able to conduct a meta-analysis. And this is a continuing work, and we're now working to synthesize the international evidence, which is definitely much larger and comes from high-income countries similar to the UK. Thank you.